Hi and welcome to part 2 of my Celebrate with Tags bundle series. So I'm Sandy of Lolly and Sand, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada. Now, I'll show you what we made last week. Okay, I'll try to remember to get the description or the link to this post as well, so you can check out how we made these. And today we're going to be making 3 cards. Yep. And everything I use is available in my online store. And you want to stay to the end because I have the cutest tag ever. I mean, I'm really pleased with it. Alrighty, so here's the stamp set. I feel like a broken record. But anyway, here we are. Here's all the dies. Check it out. So last week was all about Christmas. This week we have 2 birthday and 1 Christmas. So we're kind of expanding. So I wanted to use some of the other dies so you could see how versatile this is and what a wonderful set it is. So I say we get started. Alrighty, let's move that off to the side. I am going to need my trimmer and a few other things. Let's see, where will we start? I think we'll start here. Just a plain old basic white piece of paper and an adhesive sheet. Because some of the things we're doing will be pretty narrow. One's really narrow at the bottom. The other one, they're candles. We're going to put some adhesive sheet down. And it's funny that, you don't really need as much as you think. So you can see I've just been cutting away. Now, I don't know if you can see this. Hopefully you can. Right here and here. That's where we would peel off. But not yet. That's how, and it's sticky. When it goes on, I'll show you it. You take it off the other side too. Alrighty, so I always cut the piece that I think I'm going to need. So I'm going to cut right about here. And if I miss a bit, it doesn't really matter. For example, on the balloons, this part is easy to adhere. This is a little bit harder. So if my color goes up to here and I actually put this on here, it's so much easier to use this than it is to try and glue, which is what I did the first time. I'm going to need a yucky old piece of paper underneath just to protect the tabletop. Okay, so let's put that back where it goes. Alrighty, now I did happen to cut that right on the line, so give me a moment while I peel that apart. Now I understand, let's bring in the take your pick tool. I understand this helps, so let's give this a shot. We're going to be using blending brushes today too. Yeah, that was much easier. So this is the peel off part. This is very, very sticky. So I'm just going to adhere it basically here. Like I said, if I miss a bit, it doesn't really matter. I know that the adhesive is to about there. Why not? Alrighty, so first thing we're doing is balloons. So I'm going to bring in my blending brush and Sweet Sorbet. It's one of the new in colors. And, oh, it's a toss-up. I like Starry Sky and Sweet Sorbet the best. That's just me. Okay, so you can tell this is very inked up to start with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down some color. I want it darker at the bottom, lighter at the top. And I'm sorry, I'm jiggling the table. I'm trying not to. Put my body weight into it to try and stop it. We'll go lighter up here. You can always go over it again, which I most likely will do. Most likely 100% will do. And even though I know I'm going to be cutting these and the bottoms of the balloon, the string of the balloons will be down here, I still pounce a bit of it off just to make sure that I don't get a blob. Now I don't really want this to be a straight line across, so I'm going to start doing whatever this is called. Swing, 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 swing. I know when I finished my, I do have one sample. The other cards were kind of winging it. What was I going to say? Oh, I wasn't quite pleased with how the color had gone on after I die cut them. So I just colored a little bit more. So Actually, let me just think. There's something else I was doing for this card. Trying to think what goes on what card. Oh, this one. Okay. The other thing, I'm going to keep this paper here, and we're going to stamp the sentiment. Before I stamp the sentiment, though, included in the set, which I just put to the side, included in the set, and I didn't know what to call it last week, are these like little dot lines. And I thought, why don't I use them? So, still using Sweet Sorbet, pounce off just a little bit, like so. I added a little bit of color, and then stamped in Memento. It looked, because of the size of the die, which I'll bring in, because I thought I didn't want like a whole bunch of white area. I had to move that aside, so I use the Tuxedo Black Memento. Let's goes this way. So because this doesn't have to be straight, it's going inside a circle, just a little bit, I think you can see that, just a little bit of some lines, and if I wanted to add more, I can do it. So what I really love about stamping is you've really got a lot of leeway. And then we would cut that out, and this one's way darker. I like this better. But you know what? I wasn't going to die cut, but I do want to show you how the balloons came out. So let's bring up Old Faithful here. I know this is really close. It's not so much the die cutting, watching the die cutting, as it is the rest. Okay, so it's already set up with the sandwich, which is the base plate number 2, which is the cutting plate, and then 2 of these. Now, as you can probably see, this one's pretty hacked up. That's my bottom plate. All right, I'm just going to toss that on top, and did I put the balloon back? Oh, I swear I can lose things right in front of myself, which I've just done. Oop, maybe it's under here. Okay, we might not be doing the balloons until I find them. There we go. Could be under. I've found so many things under the machine after the fact. Alrighty, yeah, I do like this lighter one much better. That one I might have gone a little hog wild, so I'll keep that one. All right, well, I'm just going to show you what happens with the balloons. Nope, just checking underneath to see if it's there. It's not. Again, how do I do that? How do you take something and then lose it 2 seconds later? Oh, I see it. It fell off. So what I would do, this is the way I look at it. I want one to be pretty dark. The next one would be probably here, and one that's pretty light. So you have to, I would try to fit them in probably that area. Now don't forget, you can turn it too. One there, and a darker. So show you how that looks when it's done. Putting this back on my magnetic bowl. Alrighty, so here they are die cut. I'm not going to take the backings off yet. A little too early for that. So you've got your variation in colors. Actually, it goes that way. So set those aside, set those aside. My card is very plain, and because it's so plain, when I looked at it, I thought, I think I'm going to have to add a little something to it. So let's get rid of some of the stuff we don't need. I've already cut the card base, and all 3 card bases are the same. They are 4.5 by 11, scored at 5.5. And then, I wondered where I put it, and then I can do it this way for you. And then, I like to use the end, or either end. I don't think you can see this end of the trimmer. And just get a nice crisp line, and make sure that's nice and straight. Okay, so here's our little piece of paper. And this was me. You know, when you have no ideas, I'm like, wow, that's boring. When I'm making something really, really simple. So I thought, smarty pants, why don't you just cut a chunk off, turn it around, line it up, over here, and over here. Oh, I could whoopsie. No, don't move. You don't want to do what I just did, which was let go of the paper. So the shape is already a little more interesting. So we're getting there. I started off with a piece that was, looks like 3 1/8 by 4. I still don't think that it's quite pretty enough. It doesn't have quite as much interest as I would like. So, you know, when you cut it, as you're pushing down on the blade, it makes a little edge. I don't know if you can hear that or see that. So I'm going to actually turn it upside down because I'm going to get that out of the way. I'm going to score, and I want the bumps to be on this side, on the I'll call it the front. And this is the angle I chose. So this is the angle that I'm doing the lines. This is very random. You can do them, put them wherever you want. See how, this keeps falling out. That's typical. So there's 2 lines. I have to turn it around because it doesn't go further that way. I have nothing to grab onto. Alrighty. Let's do one a little bit closer. And you're not really seeing all of them per se. And trying to line it up, but we'll just do a couple extras. And there. Alrighty, so there's our lines. It's very, very simple. Just adding a teeny bit of interest to the card just helps when you're making something really simple. Okay, I had all these strips. I was cutting them for a project, and I thought I still want to use those. So what I decided was, I'm just deciding which way I want this to go. I want it to go this way. This way. I've got it. This is where I messed up that cut. So it's a little bit ragged. It's going to go something like that. I'm just going to glue that down right now. And I'm just going to use Tombow multi-purpose glue. And you know me, broken record, the same thing I say every week. You do not need a ton of glue. You do not need to slather everything with glue. Of course, I want to sell you product, but no, I do not want you to be wasteful, because we just don't do that. Okay, here's our sentiment, and here's our balloons. I believe we can put these on. Now, this is what I meant by, can we find it? Oh, that one doesn't have any. That one's getting glued down. There we go. There's my adhesive strip, so it does go down the bottom of these 2. So let's just see where we want everything to go, and then we'll add all our fun stuff. That'll probably go about there. And like so. Like so. Kind of like that. Roughly, give or take. I was going to say I should put something there so I can remember. Alrighty, and this will require something like the Take Your Pick tool. You could use scissors. I just really, really, really prefer the Take Your Pick tool. So we're about there. So this guy's getting popped up. I had that backwards. I know which ones are getting popped up. Again, on my first one, I totally forgot to pop anything up. So it's a very flat card, which for me is really unusual. And I think we'll just go bottom with that one, which doesn't color-wise make sense. Put this one down here, because the balloon at the top would be the lightest, right? Yes. Okay, now they're dimensional. Dimensionals do exactly what they say. So in that case, I didn't need the end with the adhesive sheet. Okay, don't want them to be the same length. I don't want them to be the same distance. Just not the way I rock and roll. So when I had these pieces, I went, well, what can I do with this? And I thought the car is very plain. Oh, I got goo on it. No, that might be, that's like an, oh, there we go. Never mind. I was gonna say it's an opportunity to embellish. So I kind of threw in pieces kind of randomly along the sides. I wonder if that would fit there. Well, look at that. I've already, nope, yep. All right, So I know I don't need the whole thing glued. And of course I've put my silicone sheet somewhere. My silicone mat, I should say. We'll cut those when they're dry. Put another one over here. Or do we want to go long on this side? Maybe I'll try something different. Yeah, we'll go long on this side. We're just playing around. Mostly because I don't like these. See the edge here? I'm not real keen on that, so we're going to cover that. Well, not cover it. We're going to run along the same angle as that. As soon as I see, there it is. As soon as I see it, and then we can just, with the Tombow, it allows us to move it down. But I didn't like the 2 lines. You know, it's 2, 3, etc., etc. What I was going to tell you, was what? I'm feeling very groovy right now. I've been, groovy's the word. I've been watching, I watched a documentary on Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. I watched The Summer of Love, something on Haight-Ashbury. Not quite done that one. Okay, I'm going to let those dry for a couple minutes, and then we will pop this up too. Alrighty. On dimensions, which I've put right beside me. Oh my goodness. Now I have no ribbon on this, shockingly. I think the other cards will. Not 100% sure yet. Let's celebrate you. So you notice, let me make sure that's straight. You notice how this is touching here? That's for, again, continuity, to keep things flowing together. Now, as soon as those are dry, we'll cut those ends. So in the meantime, I put my adhesive, my little rhinestones away. 1 second. That's what happens when you get all neat all of a sudden. Just bringing out another one, just in case I decide to use it. I might not, I don't know. Alrighty, so while those are, I know we've got some sparkle going, but it's not quite enough for me. So we're going to add a little bit more. Still stick into the, you notice that's a really odd shaped triangle. Try not to make them all sides the same. I forget what that's called. Good gracious, math. Oh, nope, I don't like that. It's weird because I prefer not to have things too straight. Alrighty, and then you would come in with your scissors that have glue on them. You would come in with your scissors and just cut those little bits off. There, and there, and there. I'll do an extra trim later. I'll just give you the gist. Doesn't help when my card closes. You cannot see what I'm doing. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I was just a wee youngin' in the 60s, but I still like the music. Well, wee for some of it. Oh, forgot one. There we go. And let's get that lined up. Very simple, very pretty. At the end, we're going to put Wink Costello on all the cards. So I'll just set that aside, see if I remember. Card number 2, where are you hiding? Here you are. Okay, so the first thing here is I had a piece of paper. Well, it's Sweet Sorbet. I like to stay in my color themes, you know. And I put it on my card, which has the same base as the last one. And I went, no, that's not going to work for me. So I just cut a wonky, I just put it in the trimmer, turned it on its side, and cut. So, which card's which? That's going to go on this card. So, here we go. My card is the same, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And this piece is just going to kind of go on. Just want to make sure it really is. Yep, it is. This is my not quite planned out card. You know what? Nope. I think we're going to do a little more with blends. Now, if you don't own the blending brushes yet, my suggestion is get them. They're so much fun. So this time I'm going to bring in Mango Melody and again Sweet Sorbet. Look at the mess I made of that. That one must have leaked a little. I was being messy. Now you notice this is different than this. These are the Stampin' Up! Ones. I prefer these. The bristles are, actually you can see it. See how these are more separated? And how, there we go, back to back. And how many more there are in here. This is a much richer brush, definitely thicker and more, just prettier. Okay, so this time what we're doing is we're going to be doing candles. So I'm going to have them be a couple different colors. It's funny, I could probably use that. Maybe I could. Hang on. I could. Hold on. Let's just pretend we didn't do that before. So again, we have the adhesive on the back. Alrighty. Alrighty, and then we'll just go. And I like to mix right into the other color. Let's see if I like that. And if I don't, nah, we're going to do it again. We'll do it again. I want to start from scratch. So right now we're pretending that I have, oh, actually it doesn't matter. If you don't put your adhesive sheet on first, it doesn't matter. It's just as long as you put it on at some point. Yeah, I didn't want it to be quite that dark. Pretty, but not that dark. And I do want a variety of colors, so I don't want it to be solid like the other piece was. That was too much, so we'll take some more off that one. Alrighty. There's two different sets of candles in the dies. I know this week I didn't really show you that. I will show you some that I have done. So you have the kind with these little lines, and then you have the kind with these really cute, they're both really cute, with these little dots. So after we make this card, I will show you. I'll put them there so I don't forget. So we would be die cutting. See, one is up and one is down. And you just choose the color, the part in the color, where you like. And if you don't like this, you put more on, you know, just keep going. You can have it as rich or as light as you want. And you're cutting with these. There's a fair bit coming out of them. So I just went cut, 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 cut. And then I went cut, 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 because of course I had to have a bunch and decide what I wanted to use. All right, I'm going to put these in a safe spot where they don't get my desk icky. I do have a habit of getting my desk kind of messed up. You can clean these, by the way. Just use a wet wipe. Don't get it on the ink, but it can be cleaned, and I will clean that before another video happens. All right, so let's move that away. And this time we'll bring in the card again. Okay, so we've already talked about the base, and now we're going to glue that down. I was thinking of using the Stampin' Seal, which is this, but I want to have my wiggle time in case I'm off by a little bit. Okay. And I don't want to be off, so what I'm going to do is stand my card up. I know that I want a little stripe of white along the edge here. There we go. It's beautiful. All right, then I took, now did I use, nope, I used a layering circle, and I ran it through my favorite, it's a die, but it makes impressions. It doesn't cut out. So this is it, the Stitch Greenery. That is my all-time favorite. It is. So anyway, that is gonna go, I don't know, somewhere on there. I already stamped the sentiment, and again, from the same set. Everything's from the same set. And this was too boring having it as a square. I was really struggling, so I went, well, cut it on a slant then. And I did this straight cutting through my cutter, through my trimmer. I have something here. I'll give you a quick how-to. So I want to cut a straight line under here. This is heat embossed, obviously. I didn't worry about if it was going to be straight, especially if I'm doing this now. Normally when I'm doing this, my paper is a little wider this way, so I have more to hang onto. So what you do, you can see here's the line where the blades run, and I'm going to put the word inside that track, but then move it back slowly, slowly, slowly. And you know what? I always have to close one eye. And once I don't see it, maybe a little bit more on this side, you want to be looking at it quite evenly, and then cut. Oh, my trimmer blade fell out again. Please don't land on the floor. I need you. I need you. There we go. That's how I did that really nice straight edge. And because my paper was bigger, I was able to do the top part as well. This might be a little bit harder. Oh, I see it. 1 second. I'm not really sure why the trimmer blade won't stay in there. Well, I shouldn't call it a blade. Why the scoring blade won't stay in here, and I can't make it stay. Oh, it goes this way. Works so much better when you do it the right way. Okay, let's keep going with the card. So I don't want this to be a flat card. So, oh, I'm like, what did I do with it? Here it is. So, oh, you know what I forgot to tell you? Let's go back before I forget. These I would have cut at 1/8 of an inch. So if that's 1/8, this will be 1/4 of an inch. So I had just cut strips of them, which will dull your cutting blade, by the way. So when it dulls it, keep it, mark it, and say this is for glimmer paper. This is from the white, red and white, red. You get red, and you get white glimmer paper. So I was going to do, I had a thought. You know me, I don't like things right at the top. An idea to do something like that. I have a bunch of candles here. I actually have a whole bunch of candles here. I even have them in blue because originally the card was going to be blue, and then I wanted something that was happier. So these are the ones with the holes. They're really cool, aren't they? I think we're in frame. Yes, we are. So I really like the ones with the holes, but I wanted to do these guys. So there's the difference with the cutting this way. I think that's really cool. I love that they're different. So I'm going to set those aside. So I'm going to use the one with the lines, and I think I'm going to take this yellowy, am I? And isn't this funny that this is Sweet Sorbet, like you saw, but because I was doing it very lightly, it's really like a kind of a pale pink, and that's really cute. Those guys can go too. I believe I put the adhesive sheet on these. I believe I did. I might believe it. It might not be true, but I believe I did. Okay, if you're there, where are you hiding? Oh, I don't want to have to glue these. I was sure I did. Well, you know, if it's there, I'm not feeling it. And this is how I do it. This is what happens when you cut your pieces ahead of time. You don't always remember. Okay, since I'm not seeing it, I will glue these. Not the end of the world. Actually, we're going to glue those last. So first we'll go this piece, which I am going to use Tombow on with. And again, this is, I believe, wait, or is it a 1/2 inch? I'll have to glue it first and then let you know. I'm going to go up a little higher than I thought originally. And grab my ruler. Grab my ruler. Oh, 1/2 inch. But those guys really were 1/8 of an inch, yeah? Yeah, 1/8 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch. Yep. 1/4. Really, I know my measurements, I really do. So we're going to put these guys on first. And again, my adhesive sheet would really come in handy. I'm sure it's on there because that should be white on the back, and it isn't. It's not working. Okay, well, you know, you're not going to believe me, but it is true. So again, you don't need a ton of glue. I'm holding the top of it, and I'm holding the bottom of it down. The sides, they're not going anywhere. And it gives you something to hold on to, too. So let's see. That one. I do like that yellow one, but I like that light one. So I'm going to go, and I'm not making them the same height, and you know why? It's because I can't. I don't think I can, so I'm going to do them, yeah, a little wonky. Wonky works. When in doubt, go wonky. Nobody's going to call you out for being wonky. And if they do, you just say, that's my superpower. I'm wonky. Nobody can deny that. Come on. I'm gluing myself. Let me wipe that off. There. All right. There we go. We're going to pop that up on dimensionals. Yeah, I don't think, we're not going to use ribbon because I've got this sparkly paper. I don't feel the necessity to do that. So let's keep going. You can tell my brain's always going. I think that's why in my videos sometimes I sound a little confused. Boop. I always say boop to my grandson. I have to tell you, he said the cutest thing the other day. And don't all of our grandchildren say the cutest thing. I think I'll put one more there. It's in the morning, and I was just making my way to the kitchen to have breakfast, and he's like, Emma, Emma, Emma. So I picked him up, gave him a big swirl around, sat him on the counter, and he said, I love you, Emma, Emma, which is grandma, so obviously. Yep, flat end. So that's 2 birthday cards down. I like Let's Celebrate You. Now I don't do the insides of my cards until I'm ready. Well, I certainly changed that around, didn't I? From my original plan. I'm taking that one off. And you can. You just are probably not likely to be able to reuse it. So I want to see the sparkles. So it's okay to cover up one of those. Same thing. Bring these guys in again. It's just a fun and simple card. And you know what I forgot to do? I was going to score all that. Yep. So let's pretend the card has score lines on it, which would make it look really pretty. Do you do that too? You have these really great plans, and then partway through you're like, I totally forgot. I hope you say yes. I do. I hope you say yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. I find some of these look is more sparkly. Yeah, I think that's right. They have a little more sparkle than others, so I want to use those. I'm not sure why. Card 2, going to be covered in Wink Estella. Card number 3, here we go. Remember that extra piece I showed you? We're going to use it on this card. So, card base. Here we go. I wrote down all these notes. I haven't looked at them. 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. And I have this piece, which is, now this time I'm looking, 3 inches by 5.5, and I have used the Wintry 3D folders. Now, this is a pack of 2 because it's not, when they're usually about that wide. A pack of 2, so you have these beautiful bows. I think that's what they're called. And then these guys, and I just thought that is so fun. There's snowflakes and little dotted lines that just make it so much fun. There you go. If you could see that probably better. I just thought that was so pretty. And I even forgot there was 2 of these. I was looking up the name of this and went, oh, of this, and I found there was 2. Shocking. Alrighty. And then this wonky piece, now it was originally cut like this, but that didn't work for me. So remember what I said, when it goes through the cutter, it pushes down. So all I did was I took my fingernail, ran it along to flatten out that line and flatten out that line. And now we can go like that. So it can be still a little bit wonky. I like it a wonky. So we're going to glue this piece first. Let me think. No, I was not putting, no, the score lines were going on card number 2. So card number 2 just got a little more simple than planned. But as you can see, they're very easy cards so far. They're very easy cards. Hopefully I left enough space. I did. This one I might put right to the edge. Let's see, do I like that? I do. Oh, I do. Okay. Then we'll go like that and like that, like that. Close to the edge, but not on the edge. Does it matter which way this goes? I don't think so. I just like all the lines, so it won't matter. Now again, oops, I've glued my desk. Again, I want this right at the edge. So I'm going to turn my card on its side. Let it go right down to the side, and then I can maneuver it like so. That is right on the edge. Beautiful. Yay! I like when things work. What was my plan? Okay, because I had some of this. I had some of that and some of this. Oh, and I've already, oh, that's a rough edge I don't like. I actually did the sentiment several times. I did it in, this is Sweet Sorbet. So this is the mitt stamp. And then I used the mitt die, all from the same set, all from Celebrate with Tags, to cut them out. So Night of Navy, Sweet Sorbet, and Shaded Spruce. You know, I was going to use Evening Evergreen, and I went, you know, I'm going to go a little bit lighter. The Sentiment, also from the same set, I heat embossed using black paper, and I heat embossed just in white, and then I just fussy cut around. It's a little rough. Yep. I just keep taking little pieces off here and there. I usually, as you know, heat emboss too, but this time I thought, fancy pants, you don't need to. So we were going to have, the reason I separated these is because I think I'm going to have them be not together. But I think then in that case, I want the red down here. I think I'm going to go like this, or like that, like this, and like this, and like this, kind of. We'll think about it. So 2 down and 1 up. So this will be the one that's up. This will be down. Just thinking about it. Yep, I like that. A little more of a slant because I just kind of want it to look like the mitts are gone. And the reason why I chose 3 is because of, you know, the 3 little kittens that lost their mittens. That is exactly what I was thinking of when I was when I was stamping them. Oh, I hear my grandson. Sounds like he's taking a tumble. They do that. But Mama's right up there and she will handle it. Yep, just fun. Take the backs off those. I'm thinking I don't want them to be all lined up here, so I won't line them all up. There we go, like so. So just the Shaded Spruce is on dimensionals. I don't even want that to be on the same angle as that one. So we'll just hold that down for a second. And I am going to pop one or both. Probably both. Yeah, probably both. But this one is going to be laying on top of there. You know what I forgot? I was going to use some ribbon. I'm just not sure how. And now that I've glued those down, I made that a little bit harder. There's still a way. So this isn't ribbon actually, it's Simply Elegant trim. Because it's skinny. Shall we forget it because Sandy messed up? Let me think. I don't want it on top. I wonder. If you have the I wonders, you have to go with it, right? It wouldn't really have worked with it glued down, with those glued down to do this. Kind of put it right back the way it came through, hopefully. There we go. Got. And let's see what we come up with. If I don't like it, well, I'll just pull it out of there, won't I? It's kind of fun. I'd have to cut the ends. I'd kind of like 2 circles, but I don't think I can do that. Or can I? Oh, did I just... 1 second. Oh, I did. Cut the dimensional. Well, that will hold that piece in place, won't it? Mm-hmm. We could kind of just go like that. But I'll use a glue dot under there to hold that down. And then, so before I make that final decision... Oops, Christmas isn't upside down. Yeah, I'm not really loving it. I'm not loving it, so don't be too stuck under there. Eek! Got stuck on a dimensional. You know, I've done this before, and I just want to tell you how to get it out. If it doesn't work because you've snagged in it a dimensional, I have been known to cut it. Or I can lift it. Un momento. Take a pick tool. Maybe I'll just take this right off. I know, this makes my videos longer, but I want you to know that I make mistakes. Boy, do I make mistakes. I was doing, I can't say too much because some of the people on my team listen, but I was cutting the parts for our make and takes. And silly me, one of the pieces, I'm not sure if this includes the base, but one of the cards has 17 pieces on it. I made 20 cards, so you do the math. Ugh. That goes into the what on earth were you thinking, Sandy file. It does. Okay, glue dots. Let's see if we can fix this. But, oh, I counted wrong. You know, I kept running out, and I'm like, oh my goodness. All you had to do was cut. Well, it's not true. Not just 20, because some things needed multiples. So apparently my multiples didn't quite work. I can laugh at myself because why not? And again, you know, I'm human. I make mistakes. All right, so now what I've done is put some glue dots in here, which will hold this mostly in place. We will make it stay in place. If I have to add more, that is quite a possibility, but if I have to add more, I will. See, I like that much better than my original. So what I'll do is bring back the glue dots. Oops, well, don't stab it. Well, not quite like that. I have this Buffalo Springfield song in my hand, and I did not know that was, I didn't know that was one of the fellows from Crosby Stills. It's Stills, Nash and Young. I did not know that. Well, I didn't know it, but I know it now. Yep, I'm not going to sing. You don't have to worry. We've lost most of our stick on this one because I pulled it off, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, and I'm going to see if where will I cut that? Well, I'm going to cut it and then we'll find out. If I have to cut it more, we cut it more. So this is the trim where you can get gold or silver, but it's funny that I seem to lean towards the silver more than anything. I think maybe it's just the color choices that I make that go with it. So this is how we hide what we're doing. Hopefully we can do that. Ta-da! A little messy, but it will do. And we'll put that on there. Ta-da! Now we can, sorry about that, my friends. I might cut those ends a little smaller. I should be using the black dimensionals, but I don't have them. In case you didn't know, we have black dimensionals. Because we don't like our secrets to be too noticeable. Okay, so this is going to go about there. So I will put this about here. If I really want that to stick down, and I do, not to my hands, bring the dimensionals in again. I think with the dimensionals, and they would be on my you have to have file. I believe you get 500 of them on the roll, unless that's changed. I believe they used to be 400 or 500. I should probably check that out. Well worth it. Okay, that didn't need a dimensional. nope, that needed one of these. It's not popped up on anything, and that's going to be too big. So cut it in half. Yeah, and save that piece. You got it. Oh, you know me too well. Isn't that cute? But what a fun card. You know, what a fun card. Merry Christmas. There, I didn't want to cover up the thumb part. And again, we will add. Now I'm just deciding. When I went to get my basic rhinestones, these guys, I pulled these out, but these are quite red, and this is not as red and not as red, so I don't think I want to use those. Stick with my all-time favorites. I have so many packages of these because I really, really like them. They go with almost, not everything, but they go with almost everything. And you notice I use a lot of small. I'm going to stick with 3. You notice I use a lot of them in small. Just going to clean up a tiny bit to make some space for our Wink of Stella, which we're going to do fairly quickly. All right, so we can do all 3 at once. Kind of. It's a little bit small, but we can do it. Wink of Stella. This is one of my empty ones. Mostly empty. All that's in there is what's in there. And this, where it says push, you push. Now, I would never do this with a full one. I would never squish this hard. There we go. See, we got a bubble, so we know there's some in there. And then you just start. Oh, I see them already. Yay. We just all over it. Oh, that one's coming out beautifully. I must have really squished it. Some on the balloons, some on the mitts. And what I often do is this. Oh, don't fall. It fell. Cards don't listen, just so you know. They don't listen. They don't have ears. And then I turn them around, because whenever I do that, I want it on top and bottom. Well, I'm glad this one came alive, because I did another project and it wasn't so much. Now that has to dry, so we're going to be reasonably careful. So they're going to be very shimmery when we're done. Here we go. Oh, this is bugging me. I've got glue on my desk. I had to point that out to you, didn't I? Yeah. So here they are. There's our 3 cards. Let's try and line them up as best we can. Aren't they fun? All using Sweet Sorbet. Pretty. Now I have to show you the tag, because I have got Wink of Stella all over my fingernails, because I'm absolutely not so crazy about this. Not so crazy. Not so. Not so. This is one of the tags, and you know I ran it through my favorite. It's not a die that cuts. It's a die that makes lines. So you can see the whole thing. The whole die, and from last week, you know I really love this die. And I used 2 of the hearts, but I did that same thing with the Sweet Sorbet. Used my blending brush, and then chose on the paper where I wanted it. So here's a couple of the others that they didn't make the cut because they were just a little bit darker than I wanted. This one's pretty good. This one's too dark for my liking. We do have a color lifter. I just didn't want to use it. There's a light one here. This is from the stamp set, and it says made with love. Now you cut this out and this out with a die from the set, and I did stamp the whole thing, and then I decided I just wanted it to say love, because I'm all about peace and love, my friends. It's true. But wait for it. Wait for it. You love you. So you could, wow, I got a lot on there. Holy moly. You should see my desk. Okay, I'm going to use the back of a card. Again, that could be on the front of a card, just like we talked about last week. Isn't that the sweetest, though? So this is from, I did that same thing with the lettering with the blending brushes. And then this is the Alpha Best bundle. So it's a stamp and a punch, which makes the price point really, really nice. I love dies. Don't get me wrong. I love dies. And there we are. I just think I was so happy with the way these all turned out. Here's my original. So the lines are down a little bit further. A lot more Wink of Stella, but I never like to make you wait while I tap away. There we go. I can set that up, but it's not, I don't think you can see it like that. Actually, I don't even know if you can see it because I can't tell with the camera. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me and putting up with my mistakes. Like I say, I crack myself up. I really do. I would love for you to consider subscribing to my YouTube channel if you're watching there. If you're watching elsewhere, pop over to my YouTube channel. You can see all my videos and subscribe and click the bell so you know when I've gone live. I would like you to have a wonderful week. If you want to do any shopping, the links are here. And otherwise, I will see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.